And we're live. Hey everybody, sorry we're late. It's all Lydia's fault. I'm gonna blame her. No, we've been on chit chatting, and I forgot to set up the broadcast and didn't realize it was 7 o'clock. So here we go. How have you been?
I've been fine.
You
I mean,
start
that's really
everything
all I
like
can say. You know?
I had hell week. I won't even say hell week. It was like hell couple days. And
Hmm.
then today it finally hit me. Just
Hmm.
surrender. Surrender it all. But yeah, before that, I took myself through hell. So every week I have a hell story. So oh, lots of forgiveness lessons this week, as always. It's a
Yeah.
process. It's a process.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to us starting the lessons together at the top of the new year. Guys, I drew my eyebrows on and I think I wiped one out of place, so just ignore. But I'm really looking forward to getting into the lessons and doing them
Yeah.
together. So I've been
You
kind
feel the
of
need for them?
yeah, I
Feeling
think
it.
I'm ready finally, and I've been trying to get into the habit already so that when I start, I can be consistent doing the
Hmm.
one a day and not missing a day and
Hmm.
not stopping and starting over or
Hmm.
just continue on. But as I was going through my stuff today, um I came home and I opened the course and it opened to lesson 194. I placed the future in the hands of God.
Hmm.
And that's what kind of just allowed me to just I surrender it all. Cuz it's our stories about what we think or we perceive is happening that make us crazy or stressed or anxious or
Yeah.
whatever. And that was what I was going through. So we can
Life
get
is
into
always neutral. It's neutral.
always, always. It's like Dr. Hugh Lynn says, the guy that teaches the I self identify. I'm a mess up the name, y'all. You know the Hawaiian thing. Say it, Lydia.
Ho opo ono. Ho opo ono.
Something like that. But like he always says, the divine and God is at zero, just void, just no memories playing, no, no
It
worries,
just
no nothing.
is.
It just
It's
is a
being.
void. So just staying and reminding myself of that. I've been doing Hopo Ono Ono. I'm gonna get that word sometime before October. I will get it down. I say that every show and I still butcher it.
Yeah.
But I've been doing that pretty much since yesterday. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And just kind of repeating that because that's supposed to help you clean and zero out all of those thoughts and memories that you have replaying the programs in your head. So that was good. But this was a good lesson for me to pick up and read today as I had spent a few hours stressing over nothing because it all is nothing. Nothing means anything in this false world. So we'll get into that later on in the show, lesson 194. But anyway, what about you? Well, you
Anyway, you
said
know
you
what?
had a good week.
Well, I mean, it wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It just like I'm
It
learning to look at it as it just
just was.
is.
Hmm.
Sort of, to sort of let my judgments about it, the good and the bad, go. And what you were just saying, it made me think because this is something that I've been thinking about. Like I know that the world, intellectually, I know that the world is neutral and that it's a dream, but yet my like unconsciously I don't even have any control over it. These judgments come and these judgments come and um good and bad judgments, but they're differentiating, they're separating me from other people. But I noticed like not I'm not controlling it like consciously. Not the it's not
Exactly.
Lydia who's in charge. So
Yeah.
you once you step back and look at that, you can become the observer and
Right.
realize that there's something else.
Going on.
Like
Because
it's
you
not
can't be
Lydia
the
or Bria
subject.
that's in charge,
You
right?
can't be the subject and the observer. So the fact that you can observe it shows that it's not you.
So there's something else going on here. Like these thoughts are coming from something else. They're not being generated by the Lydia that I think I am. So I
Hmm.
don't know if that would help you in, surrendering because there is something there to surrender to.
Yeah, this week I did, even though I thought I was having a bad week or whatever, the thing that has helped me, for one, I'm more aware of it now. Like I can correct it faster. Like the judgments always come up. They're just on autopilot, but I can recognize them faster.
Mm-hmm.
Like the awareness is there more,
Yeah.
and then I could switch to, just allowing it to go, whatever. It was just this morning I just went down a whole little rabbit hole. So it took a little longer than normal.
Mm-hmm.
But I finally got clear. I was sitting in my car and it finally hit me like, what are you doing? You know better than this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was able to bring myself back. And
Yeah.
it's just a reminder. But like I said,
Yeah.
it's easy to say and even easy to do. It's a little harder when you're dealing with other people to remember
Yes.
in the moment. That's where I'm
Uh-huh.
really tested in my
Mm-hmm.
interactions with other people. A lot quicker to judge and will hold the judgment much longer.
Yeah. Well, think about it. Like if you don't judge them,
Hmm.
then there's no that's the ego's bread and butter, right? Judgment. That's what keeps the
Right.
separation going. So if you don't judge them, then that's the end of you as
Hmm.
you know who you are.
And like I said, I
Yeah.
think I said in a previous show, especially when you don't like somebody or don't like something that somebody did, then you really want to enforce the separation and not see the one. But Hopo Ono Ono,
Mhm.
it still helps me a lot with that. Like Dr. Hewlin is he's so persistent about it. Like if you whatever you see in another person, you projected
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
So it's that 100% responsibility.
Oh
100%
yeah.
responsibility. Because if it's in my awareness, I projected it. So even when somebody is quote unquote acting a fool or whatever I perceive that to be, it's something in me that needs to be healed, not the other person. Because essentially there is no other person.
Mhm. And it's
And
it's the desire for separation. Like I'm not sure what part of the course it's in, but like earlier today I was flipping through and there was in one of the lessons like Jesus was really going in. He said we use other people, we project other people to buffer the strength of our own identity, our own false identity. Because if
mhm,
they're there, then I have to be here.
yeah. And then it
So
doesn't
that
even
whole
have to
oh
be
no, oh no.
it
Yeah,
doesn't
sort
even
of
have to be maybe
takes
people you
ownership of that.
don't like or
Yeah.
it could be people you feel sorry for or feel
Oh yeah.
sympathy
Oh
for.
yeah.
Like
That's
I
one of the
was
ego's fave tricks.
yes, I was reading last night when I think Dr. Joe Vitale was writing about an experience he had with Dr. Hewlin. And I can't remember if he was there or if Dr. Hewlin was telling him about a lady and she was a grandmother and her grandson had fallen ill and she was praying and praying and praying and he still died and she asked Dr. Hewlin why. I prayed for him every day, this and that, and he told her flat out, you were praying for the wrong person. He's like, you should have prayed for yourself, for whatever it was in you that projected
Mhm.
him as being ill. And I was like, ooh, ouch. Like that had to hurt, but it's if he's really, really persistent about 100% responsibility. Everything you see, if it's in your awareness, you projected it, point blank in a period. And
Mhm.
so it
And
has
let
to
me
be
just
up
say
to
this.
you to be healed. Go ahead.
Yeah. So just going with that theme, I remember Kenneth Wapnick sort of explaining what Jesus was saying about what we're really doing when we feel sorry for another person.
Mm-hmm.
He was explaining like that's forgiveness. It's called forgiveness to destroy in the course, because what we're really doing is we're saying we're belittling them. Like that's pure, that's spirit right there, a child of God, and they could just snap their fingers and
They
you
have
know
all
like
the same power you do, and
absolutely. And so
mhm,
when we feel sorry for them, we belittle them because we think of them as impoverished, which proves God is dead. And so
mm,
that secretly reinforces our own false identity. And we have no idea that we're consciously doing this by
of course,
like that we do this. We don't understand it consciously, but that just shows how sneaky the ego mind is.
just reinforcing that separation.
Mm,
As always, yep,
yeah. And
absolutely. So, is there anything particular you wanted to talk about tonight?
yeah, I'll just touch on self-doubt. I've been thinking about that and how how often I doubt myself.
Hmm. I think we
Doubt
all
my
do.
ability to make choices, doubt my self-worth.
Hmm.
Let me tell you, and doubt um there's just so many things that I doubt, regarding becoming an astrologer. It's always, oh, I don't know enough. There are people that know so much more than me. And I'm looking at people that have been doing this. I've written 20 books and have been doing this for 30 years.
There are
Uh,
people you know so much more than, like me, for example. Sometimes when you talk, I'd be like, wow. But yeah, I think that comes up for a lot of us, the self doubt. And probably
yeah.
especially because you're getting ready to really start putting yourself out there doing
Yeah, like who's going
videos
to
and
listen to me?
yeah,
Oh,
that's
I'll
what you
never be able to do that. No one's going to pay attention to me. Or yeah, like all through my life I've doubted. And so I wanted to see what the course says is the spiritual essence of this problem. So I was looking through the book, and in the manual for teachers, chapter 7, and then there are a couple paragraphs 4, 5, and 6 really stood out to me. And from paragraph 4, and guys, I'm looking at my Kindle version, the one that's on my computer, and it says about page 1200, but sometimes that's a little off.
hold on one second.
Yeah, Bria can tell me. She
You
has the
said
actual.
it's in the manual for teachers.
Yeah, chapter 7, should healing be repeated?
Hold on. That is page 22 of the text in the
Oh,
manual,
okay.
guys. If you have the combined volume like I do. So it's all the way in the back. I know you guys can't see that, but all the way in the back in the manual teachers part, page 22, section 7. Okay.
Oh, you know what? You know what? This actually talks to. So the manual for teachers is telling us how to be a teacher of God, and like what it is when we doubt our work, our ability to heal. And actually, the paragraph 4, I was just going to read a sentence from it, but it actually touches on what I talked about. So I'm going to read paragraphs 4, 5, and 7, 4, 5, and 6. It's not too long, but paragraph 4, one of the most difficult temptations to recognize is that to doubt a healing because of the appearance of continuing symptoms is a mistake in the form of lack of trust.
Ooh,
As such, it is an attack. So again, when we doubt and uh, feel
worry.
sorry for people, we
Yeah.
worry, that's really an attack on God. So usually it seems to be just the opposite. It does appear unreasonable at first to be told that continued concern is attack. It has all the appearances of love. Yet love without trust is impossible, and doubt and trust cannot coexist.
Ooh.
And hate must be the opposite of love, regardless of the form it takes. Doubt not the gift, and it is impossible to doubt its result. This is the certainty that gives God's teachers the power to be miracle workers, for they have put their trust in Him. The real basis for doubt about the outcome of any problem that has been given to God's teacher for resolution is always self doubt. And that necessarily implies that trust has been placed in an illusory self, but only such a self can be doubted. This illusion can take many forms. Perhaps there is a fear of weakness and vulnerability. Perhaps there is a fear of failure and shame associated with a sense of inadequacy. Perhaps there is a guilty embarrassment stemming from false humility. The form of the mistake is not important. What is important is only the recognition of a mistake as a mistake. The mistake is always some form of concern with the self to the exclusion of the patient. It is a failure to recognize him as part of the self and thus represents a confusion in identity. Conflict about what you are has entered your mind, and you have become deceived about yourself. And you are deceived about yourself because you have denied the source of your creation. If you are offering only healing, you cannot doubt. If you really want the problem solved, you cannot doubt. If you are certain what the problem is, you cannot doubt. Doubt is the result of conflicting wishes. Be sure of what you want, and doubt becomes impossible.
Whew.
So,
We talked about it earlier, how the course is
uh-huh,
just so blunt. So blunt and direct. Like,
uh-huh.
because it's like
It
the
is the truth.
opposite of love is hate, regardless of the form it takes. And people don't think of continued concern or something to that effect as being hateful. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
the course is so blunt.
There's another part in the course that says, beware your good intentions.
Mm-hmm.
Beware your good intentions, because they're not what you think they are.
Yeah.
So yeah, I looked back. That caused me to look back on my life and all the times that I was, well, I can't remember all the times, but like a lot of the times that I was doubting, because there were so many that I was doubting
Oh yeah.
myself. And you know what? When it says the mistake is always some form of concern with the self to the exclusion of the patient, I was being narcissistic because I was focused. At those times when I do doubt myself, I'm going over something pertaining to me. Oh, I'm going to make a mistake. I'm going to look bad. Like you're not even concerned with your brother in those times. It's like a form of narcissism where you're worried about how you'll appear, but the course says there is no you.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. And then doubt is the result of conflicting wishes. Be sure of what
Yes.
you want, and doubt becomes impossible.
Impossible.
Impossible. So that was actually pretty easy to see because, there are times when I say I want something, but I don't take the actions to do it. And when I've looked back, there's always been like another part of me in the back of my mind
Mm-hmm.
that has a reason why I don't really want my circumstances to change. Like I want to put myself out there as an astrologer and as a spiritual philosopher, but I want to remain in anonymity in order to be separate from my brother. That's the real reason.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You and I have
like
talked
it's
in the past.
always, go on.
Go ahead.
Oh,
No,
I
I
was
was
just
gonna
gonna say
say
there's
you and I.
always a conflicting, like when I
Yeah.
have doubt, there are always I'm always ambivalent about it. There are always
Yes.
conflicting desires there. Like I say I want something, but I know deep down there's a part of me that
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 doesn't
doesn't.
want that.
And that's
And
where the doubt stems from in part, but go on.
no, I was saying you and I have talked in the past when I told you I was becoming more and more aware of how I self sabotage
Oh yeah.
certain
Oh yeah.
things. And it all stems from that. Like
Uh-huh.
I say I want this, successful online business or whatever, but oh, it can come up in so many different ways too.
Oh, yes. People do it all the time.
Mhm. Yep. It comes up in
All the
so
time.
many different ways. And I can see the patterns even throughout the years of how
Hmm.
I self-sabotage so I could still keep myself small in this little bubble
Keep
where I don't
ourselves small. Yes.
bothered with anybody, so to speak. That's not the real reason. It's just that little safety zone or whatever that we feel. Like, you know how the Big Leap talks about it, how we kind of sabotage ourselves to keep us at a
Yeah.
certain level where we feel comfortable, quote
Hmm.
unquote. So, yeah, absolutely. All of that stems from doubt. Because if the doubt wasn't there or the conflicting wishes weren't there, you could push through
Yeah.
it and really get what you, yeah. Absolutely. That was a good one.
Yeah. And also, so when it says, the conflicting wishes, there was another part where it says, okay, the real basis for doubt about the outcome of any problem that has been given to God's teacher for resolution is always self doubt. And that necessarily implies that trust has been placed in an illusory self, for only such a self can be doubted. And
Mhm.
so you take it back to that original time where we had to make a decision. We had to make a decision between, well, the mind had to make a decision between the ego and the Holy Spirit. And we chose the ego. And so that there's doubt. And so we chose the ego in this illusory identity. And everything is built off of that illusion and that shaky choice. So every time that the Course says that everything, I don't know if it's the Course, but I know Kenneth Wapnick says this, that everything that happens here is a shadowy fragment of what happened at that original instant. Every time we doubt, we have doubt. We have to make a choice, and we have doubts about whether to choose this or this. That's going back to the choice we made for the ego, and how we made the wrong choice, and how we're on shaky foundation in this illusory identity. So every time we have to choose here, there are doubts. We're always ambivalent in some way. So, the spiritual foundation for self-doubt rests on that, and that initial choice for the ego that
Yeah.
we made.
I
Yeah.
love that whole paragraph that spoke to me
Yeah.
at paragraph 5 when it was talking about self-doubt, and it's
Hmm.
implies that trust has been placed in an illusory self, for only such a self can be doubted. This illusion can
Yeah.
take many forms: a fear of weakness and vulnerability, a feel of failure and shame associated with a sense of inadequacy. Perhaps there is guilt, embarrassment stemming from false humility. The form of the mistake is not important. What is important is only the recognition of a mistake as a mistake. So it really
Yeah.
speaks to anytime you feel any of those things in regards to your self doubt. It's all a
Yeah.
mistake because that's not even who you truly are anyway.
Hmm.
Because it's your illusionary self. Because your real self has all the power. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But we
That's right.
forget that all the time, especially
Yeah.
in certain moments when things come up. We forget our own power.
Yeah. Fear and doubt is a sure sign that you are relying on your own strength. On
Separation.
the strength of the ego.
That you're separate
Yeah.
from God and
And the
you're
ego is
doing it
weak.
on your own. Yes. Because if
Uh-huh.
you remember that you're one with God, what is it that you think God can't do? There's
Absolutely.
nothing, no situation, no experience, nothing that the power of God cannot overcome. But when
Oh,
we
yeah.
feel that doubt in ourselves, it just reinforces that separation, that we're separate from God and we're doing it on our own and our own isn't good enough or whatever. So, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. And guys, like the solution to this, the Course says it all the time, is to do it with the Holy Spirit instead
Hmm.
of the ego. Decide with the Holy Spirit instead of the ego.
Mm-hmm.
And the Holy Spirit helps you. The Holy Spirit will guide you to the choice that is best for not only you, but best for
Mm-hmm.
everyone in all lifetimes
Mm-hmm.
and all the illusions of time that there are. And also, I have a screenshot here. I'm not sure. This is chapter 24 of the text. Chapter 24 of the text. The ninth paragraph, I think. Chapter 9. No, chapter 24 of the text. I'm not sure. What is this? I'm not sure what it is. Chapter 24 of the text, but I just wanted to read this to you. Chapter 24, section 9, I think. Part
Oh,
5, section 9.
hold
Okay.
on. Part 5, section 9.
Yeah, it's the last paragraph right above salvation from fear.
Okay, guys, that's page 511 in the combined volume text.
Okay. There must be doubt before there can be conflict, and every doubt must be about yourself. Christ has no doubt, and from his certainty his quiet comes. He will exchange his certainty for all your doubts, and if you agree that he is one with you, and that this oneness is endless, timeless, and within your grasp because your hands are his. He is within you, yet he walks beside you and before, leading the way that he must go, find himself complete. His quietness becomes your certainty. And where is doubt when certainty has come? So I just love that about how Christ has no doubt due to his certainty of who he is. Because doubt
Yes.
comes from not knowing who you are, and how he's quiet and peaceful in that. And I
Mm-hmm.
just think of the example that Jesus left us. So when you get shaky and
Me,
nervous
me
and
this
fearful,
morning.
you are confused about who you are.
Yes. It not
Claim it.
recognizing my own power, which is
Uh-huh.
supposed to be my mission that I wanted to do with my business, to help women recognize their own power. And it's because that's something I always struggled with, remembering
Mhm.
to recognize my own power.
Yeah.
Yep. Certainty. Oh, if I could
Certainty and
go through
knowing,
life,
and that comes from knowing who you really are.
hmm and remembering it in all instances. Can't
Mhm.
wait to get there.
At every moment, guys, we either choose to be host to God or hostage to the ego. So
Hmm
we have to choose wisely.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
amazing, like what we like reading the course about the brilliance of your true state, of our true state, and then like how small we've made ourselves and what we've given up
Yeah.
for this world. Like, and we already know, like, if you found the course, you realize nothing here really satisfies you, no matter
Right.
how good things appear to be. So yeah, it's amazing. It was a mad choice, madness. And of course, this is a mad world. So
Absolutely. Um, so I guess, are you done with the talking about the self-doubt part?
I am.
Okay. So I'm gonna move on to the surrender, because
Okay.
that's what I really, today when I was like, okay, I just have to
Uh-huh.
let it go, and remember to just be in the flow.
Hmm.
And it's like kind of how the course describes choosing the Holy Spirit and listening to the Holy Spirit. Dr. Hugh Lin, he describes it as when you're in zero or at void, then your inspiration comes directly from the divine. And to me, it's like the same thing. They just word it differently.
That's being empty. That's how I like interpret that.
Yes.
When you're empty, and so
Yes.
spirit can feel you.
Yep. Absolutely. And so for me, this lesson today, I placed my future in the hands of God. It's a really long lesson, and I didn't want to read the whole thing. but it's like I'm not sure what I should
So
cut
let
out.
me join you here. What lesson is this?
194. And your pages are a little different, but for you guys at home that have the physical combined volume, it's page 370 of the workbook.
Okay, I'm with you. I found it.
And as today's idea takes another step toward quick salvation, and a giant stride it is indeed. So great the distance is that it encompasses, it sets you down just short of heaven, with the goal in sight and obstacles behind. Your foot has reached the lawns that welcome you to heaven's gate, the quiet place of peace where you await with certainty the final step of God. How far are we progressing now from earth? How close are we approaching to our goal? How short the journey still to be pursued? Accept today's idea, and you have passed all anxiety, all pits of hell, all blackness of depression, thoughts of sin and devastation brought about by guilt. Accept today's idea, and you have released the world from all imprisonment by loosening the heavy chains that lock the door to freedom on it. You are saved, and your salvation thus becomes the gift you give the world because you have received. In no one instant is depression felt, or pain experienced, or loss perceived. In no one instant sorrow can be set upon a throne and worshiped faithfully. In no one instant can one even die. And so each instant given unto God in passing, with the next one given him already, is a time of your release from sadness, pain, and even death itself. God holds your future as he holds your past and present. They are one to him, and so they should be one to you. Yet in this world, the temporal progression still seems real. And so you are not asked to understand the lack of sequence really found in time. You are but asked to let the future go and place it in God's hands. And you will see by your experience that you have laid the past and present in his hands as well, because the past will punish you no more, and future dread will now be meaningless. Release the future, for the past is gone, and what is present freed from its bequest of grief and misery, of pain and loss, becomes the instant in which time escapes the bondage of illusions where it runs its pitiless, inevitable course. Then is each instant which was slave to time transformed into a holy instant, when the light that was kept hidden in God's Son is freed to bless the world. Now he is free, and all his glory shines upon a world made free with him to share his holiness. If you can see the lesson for today as the deliverance it really is, you will not hesitate to give as much consistent effort as you can to make it be a part of you. As it becomes a thought that rules your mind, a habit in your problem solving repertoire, a way of quick reaction to temptation, you extend your learning to the world. And as you learn to see salvation in all things, so will the world perceive that it is saved. What worry can beset the one who gives his future to the loving hands of God? What can he suffer? What can cause him pain or bring experience of loss to him? What can he fear, and what can he regard except with love? For he who has escaped all fear of future pain has found his way to present peace and certainty of care the world can never threaten. He is sure that his perception may be faulty, but will never lack correction. He is free to choose again when he has been deceived, to change his mind when he has made mistakes. Place then your future in the hands of God, for thus you call the memory of him to come again, replacing all your thoughts of sin and evil with the truth of love. Think you the world could fail to gain thereby, and every living creature not respond with healed perception? Who entrusts himself to God has also placed the world within the hands to which he himself appealed for comfort and security. He lays aside the sick illusions of the world along with his, and offers peace to both. Now we are saved indeed, for in God's hands we rest untroubled, sure that only good can come to us. If we forget, we will be gently reassured. If we accept an unforgiving thought, it will soon be replaced by love's reflection. And if we are tempted to attack, we will appeal to him who guards our rest to make the choice for us that leaves temptation far behind. No longer is the world our enemy, for we have chosen that we be its friend. So I love that. That's lesson 194. I place the future in the hands of God. And so my surrender moment today in the car, that's kind of what I did. And immediately, all that angst and anxiety I had been feeling from earlier in the day, the little knot in my stomach, boom, gone immediately. It's like just surrender, surrender. And I just love this lesson. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just a reminder to us.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
two, everything that comes up, I remember and my auntie Donna, when she was alive, anytime I was stressed and or going through things, she would always recite the very first line in the prologue of the Christian Science and Health text by Mary
Mm-hmm.
Baker Eddy. It's to those leaning on the sustaining infinite, today is big with blessings. And it was
Mm-hmm.
a reminder to just always lean on God and go through the day expecting blessings. I
Yeah.
was expecting other things today before I had to I'm like, this is about to be some BS. Like I said it to myself earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to remember surrender and lean on God, lean on divinity, and just let it go. It's all in his hands. And if it's in his hands, then all is well. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing to worry about. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to be stressed or anxious about because, as my grandmother would say, God's work is already done.
Mm-hmm. I love the part about releasing the future
Yes,
to God. What did it say? Did it say release the future for the past is gone and what is present, free from its bequest of grief and misery, of pain and
pain and
loss,
loss,
becomes the instant in which time escapes the bondage of illusions, where it ruins its pitiless, inevitable course.
where it
And
runs. Yeah,
well, I'm sorry, it runs its pitiless, inevitable course. Yeah, so the part about that, because the way most of us live, of course, myself included, is we like hold on to the past.
we're tortured by the past
We're
and
tortured
fearful
by
of
the
our
past.
future.
We miss the present because we're stuck in the past, and then we bring the past to the future, ensuring that it will be just like the past. So
Hmm.
I love that part about forgetting the past and releasing the present into, I mean, releasing the future into the hands of God, and then you're only left with the present moment. And that's where all your power is, really. And really, that's the
Right.
only thing that there is. You
Hmm.
know, the past and the future, they don't really exist, as crazy as it sounds.
And they say
Because
all are
they were
one to
here, but
God. All they're
yeah.
all the same to God. The past, the future, the present. It's all the same to God. And they're like, instead of you thinking about it, all you have to do is let the future go and place it in God's hands. And by that, you've already laid the past and present in His hands as well, even though you haven't, consciously
Hmm.
done that. But just let
Hmm.
go of the future. That's all you need to do, and leave that in
Yeah.
His hands, and then everything is transformed as a result of
I'm so proud that you were able to like do it and surrender. Because I know in the past, like I've been forced to surrender in the past.
that.
That's something you just forced to surrender. But still, like on, like I know there are really no levels. Um,
Oh,
but like
Yvette's
we do
on. Hey,
judge
Yvette.
things, huh?
Yvette was saying hey to us.
Hey, girl. There really are no levels or differences, but here we judge things as being a big deal or a small deal or like medium
or
sized
or
deal.
good or bad or
Yeah.
yeah.
Some big deal stuff happens to you, you just have to surrender.
Yeah.
Or else you just have a breakdown, you go crazy. But
Mhm.
like with small stuff and like medium stuff, I'm like I've in the past I've tried to surrender it, and then like there's this like surrender the future and just remain, let go of the past and just remain in the present, and there is this like fear that comes over me of not being in control, and sort of, and I've realized now that that's the ego saying, well, if you let go, like the ego thrives off the belief in the past and the future. So if you let go of that, there's no more you. There's no more Lydia. So understanding
Hmm.
that that's what we're scared of in those moments when we're afraid to lose control. Uh Hello, we don't have control anyway. Not the we that we think
Right.
we are. You realize you're not driving the car anyway.
Right.
So
So you worried for nothing,
yeah.
essentially.
Hmm.
My mom's on too. Hi, mom.
We love you guys. Sending love to our viewers.
Did you want to talk about anything else before I go into tonight's meditation?
I think that covered it for us. Doubt and surrender.
Yeah, those were
Hmm.
big today. Pick a number 1 through 10 and not five because we did five last week.
9. 9 is the number of completion.
So, guys, I'm still doing meditations from U.S. Anderson's book, Three Magic Words, which I love. Um, so, if you guys haven't gotten that book, it's like an old classic. I think he put it out in like the 60s. But the meditations in there are so beautiful. It's 12 of them, one for every chapter. And definitely worth your time. Of course, the Course in Miracles wasn't out then, but a lot of them can still go along with the teachings of a course. He was actually a Christian science for a while and
Mhm.
scientist for a while and evolved from that and went on. So anyway, this is the ninth meditation from his book, Three Magic Words. The infinite creative power of universal subconscious mind lies within me. I attune myself, remove all barriers from my thought, become receptive to the purposes of God. I know that my life is great and good when I perform service with love. The right ideas are delivered to me, I accept them, and subconscious mind provides me with the means of bringing them into my world. I know that all things spring from universal mind, which is infinitely abundant. Lack and limitation are errors of thinking, and I banish them from my consciousness. There can be no lack. I need only let universal mind express itself through me, and my world is filled with creativeness and achievement and prosperity. My goals will be delivered to me, for they will be the goals of God who never fails. Whatever my task, I perform it with love, for I know that when I serve another, I serve the purposes of a greater design. All about me, I see the law of mutual exchange. Therefore, I give as I would receive. I know that abundance and prosperity are mental conditions. I create them on the plane of mind with complete trust and confidence that they will manifest in my life. I refuse to accept undesirable circumstance as having final reality. First cause is mental and is never found in the world about me. A mighty truth is at the center of my consciousness, where no work is difficult, where peace always reigns, where all things are possible. I know that life is a journey which must be traveled step by step, and I am patient, enjoying the wonder of the way with unshakable faith in my destination. I submit my will, knowing that success will come when I fulfill the indwelling self. Another
Very
one about
nice.
surrender.
Yeah. Yeah.
And knowing the power that works through you and works through us all.
Hmm.
So that was a good one. Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. Next week, I'm not sure of the topic. We're kind of just been seeing what comes up.
Yeah. I
So,
vote the hero of the dream. Like that was really deep. So like we
okay.
could read that and then just marinate on it throughout the week.
Okay. We'll
That
talk about
just
that.
broke Jesus broke it down in that one, guys.
We're also working on getting some guests on. So, stay tuned for that. We're going to send some invites out to some course teachers and lecturers and see who would be willing to come on and
Share their
lecture
knowledge
with
with
us
us.
on the show. So look out for that. We'll post more details on that as we start to begin contacting people and sending invitations out. But as always, um, We want, if you guys have any questions or comments, you can leave them here. We do have some from Mom and Yvette. And you can email us also, returningtoloveshow@gmail.com, or put on our YouTube channel, which is on there as Returning to Love Show. We are going to start going live from YouTube instead of Facebook in a week or two, so stay tuned. We'll let you know about that. And we'll see you guys again next Sunday. Good night. Thanks for tuning in.